Second speaker of the evening is doing strategic relationships. She is also on level 1, but she is doing project 2, which is evaluation and feedback. And the purpose of this project is to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and then apply feedback to a second speech. So feedback, feedback, feedback. It's going to be very key to be giving her feedback on this. This next speaker is Jessica Jin, and at 15, Jessica left her family in Shanghai, China, and came to the U.S. as a high school exchange student through an intercultural exchange program. Experienced culture shock, homesickness, and identity crisis. She still was determined to push through these challenges and never looked back. After feeling invisible and worthless with suicidal thoughts, Jessica discovered her calling to be a fearless leader, not afraid to be the first. So let's welcome up Jessica Jin, first solo road trip across the U.S. First solo road trip across the U.S., Jessica Jin.
Have you ever felt lost and alone? I felt the most lost ever in my life in 2021. I had been preparing months for this job with my dream company. And I even neglected my family and friends so I could be more prepared. When my dream company rejected me, I was devastated. Well, what's all this about? I started questioning everything. My roommate at the time always told me to plug into a community. At that time, I didn't understand the meaning of community and the significance of it. So I decided to pack everything and go on this 10-month solo road trip across the US, which led to personal breakthroughs. Good evening, Madam Toaster, fellow members, and most welcome guests. Tonight, I would like to share 3 lessons I've learned from this trip that truly helped me find the sense of community I desperately needed. The first lesson I learned is that when you experiencing the act of kindness from strangers, it truly helped you build a bond with all people from unexpected backgrounds. When I was enjoying this tasting flight of hard ciders on the farm in Oregon on a rainy day, I was surprised that groups of people are visiting as well. Given the natural myself loving talking to people, I started small talks with them. And Dave was someone who was visiting because his grandson works there. And he eventually invited me to visit his house on Solvay Island. Later, his wife told me that his family thought he was crazy to visit a stranger to the house. One magical thing that happened to me on this road trip was that I always met people from places that I planned to go next. It's almost like someone knew my plan. One morning, I was cleaning my car, trying to tear down all the tents, equipment at a campsite in Oregon. And lady next to my log started walking towards me and initiated conversation. She was like, "What are you doing? You're alone, a young lady. Where are you sleeping?" Eventually, she invited me to stay with them in Sacramento, California. It was like visiting grandparents, picking up persimmon from the trees and feeding the chickens in the morning, and even listening to the beautiful stories of how they built the blue roof of their house. And when I visit them again, I even met their friends from England. We're still in touch. I never imagined encountering these beautiful moments and making genuine relationships along this road trip. The second lesson I learned is when you are completely untethered from everything that you're familiar with, it will lead you to a personal breakthrough. Have I always been an independent woman? I never thought I would need anything from anyone. I can do it all. And so, when many of my friends start asking me on this road trip, so Jess, are you lonely? My answer was simple. Yeah, I listen to sad songs. Having always been a people pleaser, I bring all the positive vibes. I never want to show vulnerability with anyone. So when I was on this road trip for 2 months, all by myself in the wild, wild west, I got to meet this friend at Las Cruces, New Mexico, who I haven't met for a year. We hiked the mountains, went to the farmer's market, and even met some locals at the bars. I wish I could stay longer. When I started waving my hands, saying goodbye and driving away, I started crying. That ugly cry. What the heck was that? I couldn't stop crying for the next 8 hours. All the way to San Antonio, Texas. It was a lonely, long, sad road trip that stripped me away from everything I was familiar with. Having to change locations every 2 to 3 days, and it really is similar to how I experienced my teenage years of changing from one high school to the other. Indeed, they never taught me how to build deep relationships and share those up and downs with people that are close to me. This emotional breakthrough unlocked the reason why I felt so disconnected for so long. It's okay for all of us to experience the emotions of anger, sad, pain, or even wanting. It's okay for us to want people and need people in our life. It's okay to not to be okay and share the struggles with people in your life. The third lesson I learned was when you form deep relationship with people around you and actually be willing to receive the support, it helps you actually want to serve others. When I was staying with friends in Orlando, I started sharing all the ups and downs with friends about this road trip and start to realize that I made so many mistakes in relationship because how much I avoided being vulnerable. And as a young adult, I have full responsibility of my life, so I can break through and start serving people in my life. It's beautiful to gain this awareness and truly learn these lessons from this road trip that I never expected. Now I'm back in the city, still pondering a lot of things in my life, but I know I'm rooted in this deep, vulnerable, honest, and gracious community. We all need people more than we know in our life. So don't wait until it's too late. Go out there, take the risks, and find people in your life that you can be